Hello and welcome to News Tonight on Rajya Sabha TV. I'm Tina Jha. Let's take a look at the top stories today. India's flagship conference on geopolitics and geoeconomics, Raisina Dialogue, starts in New Delhi. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attends the inaugural session. Representatives from over 100 countries to deliberate on global challenges like climate change and terrorism at the three-day conference. Supreme Court rejects curative petitions of Nirbhaya rape case convicts on death row, Mukesh Singh and Vinay Sharma. Mukesh Singh submits petition for presidential pardon now. Delhi court has ordered all 4 convicts on death row to be hanged on 22nd January. Nomination process begins for Delhi elections on 8th February. Aam Aadmi Party releases list of candidates for all 70 seats, drops 7 MLAs, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal to contest from New Delhi constituency. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu expresses concern over mindless exploitation of natural resources, urges people to be guided by traditional knowledge on conservation. Professor M.S. Swaminathan honoured for outstanding contribution to agriculture. And mercury dips across North India. Heavy snowfall triggers 32 landslides in 48 hours in Himachal sector of Kashmir. 10 people, including 5 Jawans, killed. Lowest temperature of minus 57 degrees Celsius recorded in Siachen over the last 2 days. The top story of the day, the 5th edition of the Raisina Dialogue kicked off in New Delhi on Tuesday. Prime Minister Narendra Modi attended the inaugural session of the multilateral conference that is organized jointly by the Ministry of External Affairs and the Observer Research Foundation. This year, the 3-day event has 700 international participants from over 100 countries. Foreign ministers of 12 countries, including Russia, Iran, Australia, Maldives, South Africa, Estonia, the Czech Republic, Denmark, Hungary, Latvia, Uzbekistan, and also the European Union are taking part in the conference. Other participants include the Secretary General of the Shanghai Cooperation Organization and also the Secretary General of the Commonwealth. In addition, the National Security Advisor of Afghanistan, the Deputy NSA of the United States, and several ministers of state, including from Germany, will also be, in fact, they will also present their ideas at the conference.
The Raisina Dialogue has 3 characteristics. 1, while focused on change, disruptions, and rebalancing underway in the world, it covers a very broad spectrum of subjects and debates. Most important, it is truly contemporary. 2, its participants are equally diverse. They range from policymakers and executors to thinkers and activists. The diversity addresses all yardsticks, whether of geography, demography, ideology, gender, or interest. 3, this platform brings together representatives and individuals who you may not commonly find at the same location at the same time. The exchange of perspectives that this allows could possibly grow into something more with the passage of time. These 3 characteristics, ladies and gentlemen, are exactly what Indian foreign policy today seeks to achieve. A focus on key challenges, a broad engagement with many parties, and managing, if not leveraging, global contradictions. Advancing our interests in a multipolar world and contributing to global good is what it is all about.
Australian Prime Minister Scott Morrison sent his good wishes in a video message to the delegates, speakers and the participants at the Raisina Dialogue. Morrison was to have delivered the inaugural address but had to call off his visit to India due to the bushfire crisis in his country. Morrison emphasized on the significance of working collectively in balancing interests in the Indo-Pacific region, resisting hegemony, sustaining free movement of trade while keeping marine and airspace accessible.
Namaste. Thank you to my friend and Australia's great friend, Prime Minister Modi, for your invitation to address this year's Raisina Dialogue. And I want to thank you, Prime Minister, and for all of you there for your great understanding as to why I cannot be there in person with you today in New Delhi. As you know, over recent weeks and months, Australia has been battling ferocious bushfires of unprecedented scale. The toll in lives and property, our environment, our wildlife has been substantial. But we, as Australians, are a resilient people and we will overcome and we will recover. Our brave firefighters, our defence forces, our local communities have been responding to this terrible challenge with the great spirit and courage that Australians are well known for. I also want to thank the global community, but particularly our friends who are there today, and especially you, Prime Minister, and the people of India, our dear friends, for your kind wishes and practical support at this very difficult time.
And for more on the story, let me go across to my colleague Akhilesh Suman, who is joining us live on News Tonight. Good evening, Akhilesh. Take us through what happened at the inaugural session of the Raisina Dialogue today.
It was really very interesting inaugural session, Tina, and I can tell you that this was a candid moment when External Affairs Minister Mr. Jaishankar said that 5 years earlier, Prime Minister Narendra Modi had told him that will we be just participating in international occasions like this, or can we have on our own? And it is rectified now. So Jaishankar was quite satisfied that we are doing now 5th edition of Raisina Dialogue. And Raisina Dialogue has emerged as a major strategic think tank from all over the world. And as Jaishankar has told that at one platform in one point of time, so many people from the government, from outside the government, a strategic community are coming together. It's really a rare moment, and I think that it was visible today. Other than that, you know that it was very frank discussion, and the first inaugural was actually it was an informal discussion of all the 7 heads of states or heads of governments who don't have now any diplomatic compulsions that they cannot speak their mind, and that is why Prime Minister Narendra Modi told them that thought leaders and Ministry of External Affairs tell them that 7 wise men and women are speaking about the global affairs. And I can tell you to travel about this, that first thing was asked by Mr. Samir Sir, who is actually coordinating the whole Raisina Dialogue. He asked that what is the solution of Middle East, and the question was with Colin Harper, who was the former Prime Minister of Canada, and he said that the regime change is necessary. The type of regime that is existing in Iran is a problem. So people fear to speak about this. Even America doesn't speak about this, but it is coming in Raisina Dialogue. Other than that, that if you go to climate change, so that is one of the major issues that world is facing today. And the Bhutan former Prime Minister said that that United Nations Security Council has failed to address the issue of climate change. And he said that only one resolution about climate change was taken by United Nations Security Council, nothing more than that. So no action was there from Security Council. And he said that that is why we speak about reform in United Nations Security Council. And when he is saying from the capital of India, that is always telling that United Nations Security Council does not reflect the reality of nowadays world. It is quite resonating with Indian voice that Security Council need to be reformed. And other than that, there was a NATO issue. And on NATO issue, it was stated by one of the former Prime Minister of NATO members. He said that NATO is quite strong. It was amazing for all of us that at a time when NATO has a different type of reverberation. They have conflicting, statements more often than not. But he is telling that NATO is stronger any time earlier in the past after the fall of Soviet Union. So it was really amazing. And he is telling that NATO should reinvent itself to fight against terrorism. And he said that NATO should seek a role in the Middle East to train the security personnel in the Middle East to fight against terrorism. It was
yes, so definitely, Akhilesh, a range of issues that were discussed today. And of course, over the course of the next 2 days as well, there will be several issues of regional and global importance, which the leaders from across the world who are participating at the conference will be deliberating upon. And we will continue to track that story for you. For the moment, let's look at some other headline stories. The Supreme Court on Tuesday dismissed the curative petitions filed by 2 death row convicts in the 2012 Nirbhaya case. A 5-judge bench rejected the curative petitions filed by Vinay Sharma and Mukesh Singh and were unanimous that there was no merit in the petitions filed by them. After its rejection, Mukesh Kumar in fact filed a mercy petition before the president. The Delhi court has issued death warrants against the 4 convicts in the Nirbhaya case, saying that they would be hanged on the 22nd of January at 7 a.m. in Tihar jail.
आज मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा दिन है क्योंकि हमने 7 साल से मैं संघर्ष कर रही हूँ, आज के डेट तक कर रही हूँ, तो ये मेरे लिए बहुत बड़ा दिन है। लेकिन सबसे बड़ा दिन 22 तारीख को होगा जब वो चारों फांसी पे लटकेंगे और उम्मीद करते हैं कि जो भी आगे उनकी रेमेडी है ऐसे ही खारिज होगी और उनको 22 तारीख को फांसी होगा।
A news now related to the upcoming Delhi elections. The process for filing nominations for the Delhi elections began today. Candidates can file their nominations till the 21st of this month for elections that will be held on the 8th of February. Scrutiny will take place on 22nd January, while the last date for withdrawal of nominations will be the 24th of this month. Over 1.47 crore voters will vote on 8th of February for the 70-member assembly elections. Counting of votes will take place on the 11th of February. The elections will see a 3-cornered contest involving the ruling Aam Aadmi Party, the BJP and the Congress. The Aam Aadmi Party, in fact, released a list of all 70 candidates for the upcoming Delhi Assembly polls on Tuesday. The party has fielded Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal from the New Delhi Assembly seat and his deputy Manish Sisodia from the Patparganj seat. 15 sitting MLAs have been replaced in the list. Atishi will contest from Kalkaji, while Raghav Chadda will contest from Rajendra Nagar.
सभी 70 की 70 सीटों के लिए उम्मीदवारों की लिस्ट अप्रूव कर दी है पॉलिटिकल अफेयर कमेटी ने। इसमें 46 कैंडिडेट्स जो अभी सिटिंग एमएलएस हैं वो हैं। 9 पहले से खाली सीट्स थीं, उस पे नए कैंडिडेट्स हैं और 15 सिटिंग कैंडिडेट्स सिटिंग एमएलएस की रिप्लेस किया गया है। इसमें एक अच्छी बात यह है कि पिछली बार आम आदमी पार्टी से 6 महिलाओं को टिकट दिया गया था 2015 में, इस बार 8 महिलाओं को टिकट दिया गया है।
Dr. M.S. Swaminathan was presented the M. Venkaiah Naidu National Award for Excellence on Tuesday for his distinguished contribution to the field of agriculture. Vice President M. Venkaiah Naidu presented the award to him during Pongal celebrations in Chennai. Describing Swaminathan as the father of the Green Revolution in the country, the Vice President spoke about the significant role Dr. Swaminathan played in improving agricultural techniques as well as the lives of hundreds of farmers. Referring to the degradation of the environment and excess exploitation of natural resources, The Vice President stressed on the need to use traditional knowledge in natural conservation. He also urged people to create a roadmap for inclusive and sustainable development.
Swaminathan Garu, father of the Green Revolution in India and the Dian of Agriculture Science, he has been playing a pioneering role in the advancement of agriculture and improving the lives of the farmers. Sri Swaminathan ji has been acclaimed by the Times magazine as one of the 20 most influential Asians of the 20th century and only one of the only three from India, the other two being father of the nation Mahatma Gandhi and Swami Vivekananda and Vishwakavi Rabindranath Tagore. He has been described by the United Nations Environment Programme as the father of economic ecology because of this leadership of the evergreen revolution movement in agriculture.
The Vice President also extended greetings and best wishes to people on the occasion of Pongal. Describing India as a land of festivals, the Vice President expressed confidence that Indian festivals will reinforce the unique identity of our civilization and also inspire us to build a prosperous world.
The festival beautifully captures the essence of the deep respect and reverence for nature that forms the foundation of the Indian civilization. We consider Earth to be our mother and are proud of our long tradition of harmonious existence between man and nature. That's why I always say, nature, culture, together for better future. That is my advice to all the youngsters. Respect the nature, follow the culture, then you will have a better future. This reverence for nature has been abundantly reflected in our traditional practices, religious beliefs, rituals, folklore, art and crafts in our daily lives. Today, the global community is extremely worried by the degradation of the environment and the disastrous consequence of the reckless exploitation of natural resources. Traditional wisdom and practice of nature conservation must become a source of inspiration and serve as a road map to inclusive and sustainable development.
The Vice President also attended the 50th anniversary celebrations of the Tamil magazine Tughlaq. Speaking on the occasion, the Vice President called upon the media fraternity to introspect and curb unhealthy trends that affect its credibility. Paying tribute to the founder of the magazine, Cho Ramaswamy, the Vice President said that he was a fearless journalist who always placed nation's interest above anything else. Recalling the resistance put up by him during the emergency days, the Vice President said Ramaswamy always believed in journalistic freedom and never missed an opportunity to oppose any move to curtail journalistic freedom. Time for a short break here, but more news and updates will continue on the other side. Do stay with us.
Watch The Big Picture with me, Vishal Dahiya, at 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha TV.
We are 4 million now. Rajya Sabha Television's YouTube channel has 4 million subscribers now. 1 million people have subscribed to our channel in less than 6 months. 6,000 people join our YouTube channel daily. RSTV's YouTube channel has 1 million video views every day. In 2019 alone, Rajya Sabha Television's YouTube channel had 400 million video views. Become a part of RSTV. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Like and share our videos. Rajya Sabha Television, marching ahead.
Welcome back. You're watching News Tonight. India and Bangladesh signed an agreement on Tuesday for content exchange between All India Radio and Bangladesh Radio Betar. Both sides agreed to scale up joint production and exchange of airtime between Prasar Bharati and Betar. The MOUs were signed in the presence of Information and Broadcasting Minister Prakash Javadekar and Bangladesh Information Minister Muhammad H. Mahmood in New Delhi. Content from Akashwani Maitri service will air in Dhaka, and content from Bangladesh Radio has been started on All India Radio in Kolkata. Both countries also signed an MOU to co-produce a film on Mujibur Rahman to be directed by eminent filmmaker Shyam Benegal.
And our cooperation, just last year we started on DD Bangla and DD India, exchange of programs, and we relay every day some part of it. Akashwani cooperation dates back, All India Radio and Betar. Both are created. Now today we will add more dimension to it. More programs will be created by both the radios and will be exchanged. Today Maitri is already running for 16 hours.
Vigyan Prasar launched Vigyan Samachar on Tuesday with an aim to present science news to the audience in a simplified manner and also increase reach of information related to science. At the inauguration, heads and senior officials of CSIR, Department of Science and Technology, and the Ministry of Earth Sciences were present. Vigyan Prasar will coordinate news stories received from their respective organizations for print, electronic, digital, as well as social media. Vigyan Prasar Director Dr. Nakul Parashar also informed that Vigyan Samachar will present the science news to people in an interesting way, but of course without losing its real content.
We like to engage media continuously. The mainstream media, I don't see anything wrong with mainstream media, but basically what the mainstream media might feel that science doesn't make that kind of a news as much sensational as what you actually get to hear every day. But it's our job to actually convince mainstream media that they should also carry this news. But Vigyan Samachar's objective essentially is they will carry this news and we'll try to take this news to college students, school students, university professors and everywhere, and also engage mainstream media via this particular medium.
हमारे पास 38 से ज़्यादा CSIR की लैब्स हैं, 23 से ज़्यादा अलग अलग ऑटोनोमस इंस्टीट्यूट्स हैं, 10, 20, 30 इस तरह करके संख्या बहुत बड़ी है. रोज़ हज़ारों की तादाद में, हज़ारों गीगाबाइट, हज़ारों टेराबाइट की तादाद में हमारे पास न्यूज़ इकट्ठा होता है, कंटेंट इकट्ठे होते हैं, पर उनको हम क्या रिपर्पस कर पाते हैं, क्या हम उन लोगों तक पहुंचा पाते हैं, क्या हम अपने समाचार के माध्यमों का भरपूर उपयोग कर पाते हैं, इन सब को मद्देनज़र रखते हुए हम सब ने इस कमी को समझा.
5 soldiers and 5 civilians lost their lives in separate avalanches in Jammu and Kashmir on Tuesday. 5 people died and several houses were damaged after an avalanche hit Kulan village in Sonmarg. Avalanches also hit Gurez and Rampur sectors along the line of control. Rescue operations were launched by the army and the police in the affected areas. Meanwhile, mercury dipped across North India on Tuesday as rains lashed several parts of the region. The Weather Office has predicted more downpour in the next 2 days due to a fresh western disturbance. And let's now talk about environment and climate change. A recent study shows that water level in the Ganga-Brahmaputra-Meghna Delta could reach 85 to 140 centimeters by the year 2100 due to climate change. The Ganga-Brahmaputra-Meghna Delta covers 2/3 of Bangladesh and a part of West Bengal. Sundarbans, which is the world's largest mangrove forest, is a key area in this region. It is the largest and the most densely populated deltas in the world. In fact, it is also one of the most vulnerable to climate-driven sea level rise. Moreover, monsoon flooding presents a major challenge for climate change adaptation of its 200 million inhabitants. Between 1968 and 2012, the water level in the delta increased faster by 3 millimeters per year on an average, which is more than the global mean sea level. The year 2005 onwards, the water level rise was faster towards the west of the delta. The study can in fact help improve monitoring water levels in the region, which is home to 200 million people. It can also lead to future impact studies and possible adaptation plans in the wake of the rising impacts of climate change. A quick update now from the devastating forest fires in Australia. Slovenia's Dalila Jakupovic collapsed in a coughing fit and retired from Australian Open qualifying on Tuesday, suffering breathing difficulties due to poor air quality, as smoke from bushfires raging across the country blanketed Melbourne in a thick grey haze. Earlier, the tournament's qualifying matches were delayed and practice temporarily suspended as the pollution has raised safety fears at tennis's first Grand Slam of the year. "28 people have already lost their lives and thousands rendered homeless in recent months as huge fires across Australia have scorched 27.7 million acres of land. Over 1.25 billion animals have been killed in Australia due to the raging bushfires. And on to some sports news. Australia thrashed India by 10 wickets in the first ODI of the 3-match series in Mumbai. Chasing 256 for win, Australian skipper Aaron Finch and David Warner smashed unbeaten centuries to help the Aussies secure an emphatic win with 74 balls to spare and also take a 1-0 lead in the series. Finch remained not out on 110 runs and Warner remained not out on 128 runs. Earlier in the innings, Shikhar Dhawan hit a half-century before Australia pulled things back to bowl India out for 255 in 49.1 overs. India's middle order collapsed after the fall of Dhawan and KL Rahul, who scored 47 runs. India was put into bat after Australia won the toss and elected to bowl first. The second ODI of the series will now be played in Rajkot on Friday. And that's it from us in this bulletin. Thank you very much for your time.